These are 10 of the best sneakers left to drop in 2024. Number 10, the Soulfly Air Jordan 12. So it seems like every year Soulfly releases another Jordan brand collaboration, and this time around they're releasing a collab on a pair of Air Jordan 12s. Now it's been a minute since I bought a pair of Air Jordan 12s. Probably the last pair that I bought was I bought a pair of Breads, but I don't think that counts because it's not a newer release. The last pair of 12s that I bought was the Amamaniers. So it's been a while since I bought a pair of 12s, and this is actually kind of similar to the Amamaniers now that I'm looking at it. But I will say this is the first time in a while that I've been excited about a pair of 12s, or at least a new pair of 12s. And this Soulfly collab seems like a premium take on the Air Jordan 12. You've got this really nice white leather upper that looks buttery. You've got this super clean and super soft looking Baroque brown mudguard. I haven't seen it in person yet, so I don't know if it is actually that, but it looks like that. And it's sort of got that simple, clean vibe. Very wearable, very clean, and like I said, very premium looking. Now I couldn't tell you what the hype is going to be like on this shoe. I'm assuming because it's a pair of Air Jordan 12s, it's not going to be crazy, but I also don't think it's going to sit around. But I can say that I am pretty excited to check the shoe out when it supposedly releases on December 6th for a retail price of $225. And of course, if you want to grab this shoe or just check the resale price of this shoe or really any other shoe on today's list, any shoe that I mention, I made sure to link them all through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. Number 9, the Crocs Echo Wave. So over the last year, or I guess 2 years, Crocs has been experimenting more than I think that they ever have, and in December they are releasing the brand new Crocs Echo Wave. Now Crocs was nice enough to send over this pair early, and it was one of those pairs that I was like, sure, I'll check it out. And then I got it in hand and I was like, all right, these are kind of cool. So I've been really into clog style shoes, as you guys know, ever since like the foam runners. And Crocs is one of those brands that every so often they drop a banger. We've got the Soleil Bembury Pollux Crocs, we've got the Junipers, and now we've got a shoe that I really like a lot. So this shoe is sort of a mix between the Soleil Bemburys and I guess a standard pair of Crocs, but it's also more of like a clog without like the strap on the back. It's a really interesting sort of new direction from Crocs. It's kind of like their Echo clogs, but it's not exactly like them. I mean, it is technically an Echo clog. It's called the Echo Clog Wave or the Echo Wave, so it is sort of the same shoe. But in a lot of ways, it is a brand new silhouette, and it's different, man. It's really, really different. And I totally understand if you're not about the aesthetics of this shoe, but the reason I like this shoe so much is because it gives you sort of those cozy vibes, which is sort of a feeling that I'm really into at the moment. Not just because it's getting colder, but just because I like being cozy. I don't know what it is. I just like being cozy. I think most of us like being cozy. And this is the kind of shoe that you can keep by your couch and throw on if you're like going outside to get the mail, or even if you're going traveling. It's great for that. And something that I really love about this shoe isn't just the design, because I do think the design is actually pretty cool, but it's also this foam that they've sort of infused into the midsole, or I guess the footbed of the shoe. It's pretty thick, it's very, very soft, and it makes this a very comfortable shoe on foot. Like, it feels really, really good, and this is a shoe that I'm planning to rock at least on the plane to Complex Con this weekend, and I just think it's dope. I don't know what the retail price is going to be. I actually don't know much about this shoe other than it's the Crocs Echo Waves, but I know it's dropping in December, and it's probably going to be under $100. That's my guess. I don't know for sure, but that's my guess. Actually, let me know what you guys think of this shoe in the comment section down below. I'm sure it's going to be polarizing, to say the least. Speaking of cozy vibes, APTHCRY is dropping our brand new hoodies. We've got the blue Pretty Much Broke hoodie and the black Pretty Much Broke hoodie. Brand new hoodies, premium heavyweight. They've got the APTHCRY tag right there in rubber, which I think is so sick. We're also dropping super comfortable and heavyweight sweatpants in heather gray and in black. So if you guys want to rock a cozy APTHCRY fit this winter, make sure to check it out when it drops this Friday on apthcry.com at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Links, of course, in the description below. Number 8, the Nike Air Foamposite 1 Metallic Copper. This is probably the Foamposite that I have the most nostalgia for, because this is like one of the first pairs of sneakers that I ever wanted to get, went to the store, waited for, and couldn't get. So this colorway first dropped back in 2010, and literally on launch day, I was working at the Vans store right next to the DTLR where these shoes were dropping back in Columbia, Maryland, where the Vans store was that I used to work at, and there was a huge line for this shoe, and after my shift, I got in that line because I'd seen that shoe through the window, and I was like, that shoe is so crazy, I gotta try and grab it. And of course, after hours of waiting, it was sold out because I was like way at the back of the line. But nostalgia aside, 14 years later, I still really like the way the sneaker looks. It's probably one of my favorite Foamposite colorways. I just think it's wild and it's different, and I'd love to have a pair for myself when it officially drops again December 5th for $240. It's very expensive. That metallic copper in the upper is just so cool, and it ties in so nicely with Penny Hardaway. It's a dope sneaker. I really like it a lot. And the only other pair of Foamposites that I want more that I don't already have is the Galaxy Foamposites. For me, my top 3 Foamposites of all time are the Supremes, which I was able to get a year or two ago, the Coppers, and the Galaxy Foamposites. That's my 3 sneaker Mount Rushmore, although it would be a 5 sneaker Mount Rushmore. What other Foamposites would I add there? There's a lot of other good ones. Maybe the Metallic Reds, Paranormans, maybe? There was that one China exclusive release that I really liked. I don't know. There's a lot of great Foamposites out there, and this is just a pair that I've always wanted. So yes, even though this shoe is $240, I will absolutely be trying to grab a pair for myself because it's classic. Number 7, any good releases from ASICS. So I realize this is kind of a cop-out in terms of like placement on the list because I'm just saying ASICS in general, and I'm gonna do it again immediately after this. But I really feel like all of the collabs that ASICS are dropping this year are bangers, and all of the standard releases that are decent colorways are also bangers. There's a lot of really good stuff coming out of ASICS this year is what I'm trying to say. Another reason why I couldn't pick one specifically is because ASICS doesn't really tell you what's coming out until like a week in advance. Like I just found out about the hidden collaboration, which is dropping at ComplexCon, and ComplexCon is in like 4 days. It kind of seems like that's the case for a lot of brands that aren't like Nike or Adidas. Most other brands don't really tell you what's coming unless it's like a crazy hyped up thing, so you don't really know exactly what's dropping. And that makes lists like these really difficult because I can't specifically pinpoint one specific ASICS release. That said, I don't really think you can go wrong with any of the lifestyle or older running style releases from ASICS. They're all fire, they're all very wearable, and they're all really in style right now. If I had to pick certain silhouettes that I think will be popular this year, you've got the Gel NYCs, the Gel 1130s, the Gel Kayano 14s, the Gel Kayano 20s is getting a lot of collabs this year. I don't remember what silhouette the hidden collab is on, let me check. The Gel Venture 6 Shield, a shoe which I'll be honest I'm not familiar with, but hey, it's clean. There are so many good sneakers coming out of ASICS this year, you really can't go wrong, and even if you're not like an ASICS fan, stuff like the Marvel collab that they just dropped, I think will suck a lot of people in. So I'm all on board for ASICS. Whatever they drop, I think specifically the shoe that I'm most excited for in the next week, because yes, there is something dropping like every week. You've got this metallic silver Gel NYC, which I think is dropping on the 15th, which is absolutely fire. So yeah, keep an eye on ASICS. I can't give you guys like one specific release because they don't tell us what the releases are gonna be. Number 6, most of the releases from New Balance. I get it, you're mad. I don't have a specific release for this one either. It's the same thing for New Balance. They don't tell you what's coming. The pair that I'm most excited about, I guess, that's coming like tomorrow, because that's really all they tell you, is the New Balance 740s in blue and white. I really love the 740 V2s. I think they're incredible. This is the first colorway. If you guys want me to drop a review on this shoe, I will, because I think it's incredible. But again, there's like no specific release that I can point to and say that's the release to go for, because a lot of really good releases are going to come out of New Balance. I'm sure we're getting a lot of great collaborations that we don't know about yet. So if you're interested in New Balance at all, I would just say keep your eyes open, because there's so many good things coming out of New Balance, whether it's collabs or non-collabs. Stuff like this is just such a great everyday shoe. I know that the 740 is an older silhouette, and this is the 740 V2, a slightly updated version of the 740, but this release with the metallic silver does seem a bit reactionary because of what ASICS is doing this year. So I mean, I don't know, if you like metallic silver on your shoes and you like 2000s running sneakers, this year was probably amazing for you. And I think New Balance is going to continue not only in this trend, but also just in footwear innovation in general. I'm a huge New Balance fan. So you can't go wrong with any of them. I mean, shoot, they even dropped the most comfortable shoe of the year, the New Balance More V5s. This shoe is crazy soft underfoot. The previous most comfortable shoe of the year was a New Balance sneaker. So I don't know, you can't really go wrong with New Balance. Really, all of their silhouettes are amazing. Sorry for not having a specific shoe, but there's so many good ones. Number 5, the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Velvet Brown. If you're interested in this sneaker, I've already done a full review of this shoe on my channel, which you can check out through the link at the top of the screen. And in that review, I didn't totally love this sneaker. And while yes, I still don't totally love this sneaker, I do think it's one of the most interesting releases that's coming at the end of the year. And it's not just because it's a pair of Travis's. This is a pair of Air Jordan 1 Lows that features a pretty decent feeling suede upper. It comes in an almost entirely dark brown makeup, and it's a shoe that has some hype to it, but also is pretty understated. And I kind of love those if you know sort of sneakers, the kind of shoes that people will notice on your feet and be like, I see you. That's one of the reasons why I love the sneaker community, because you can wear really crazy, loud, out there sneakers that everyone notices, or you can wear something like this, which is super understated, and only a select few will catch you. Other than the colorway though, it is somewhat unremarkable. I mean, it is a Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but it is a different take on the shoe, and it's one that I think people will either really love or really hate. Not a huge amount of in-between. Although there is some in-between there, most people are gonna be on one side or the other. And resale pricing on this shoe, I can't pinpoint. I have no idea what it's gonna do. You can check out the current resale price through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. But when it comes to what the shoe is gonna go for after it releases, who knows? It could go for $1,000, it could go for $200. I have no idea. But hey, if you wanna try your luck at grabbing a pair of these for retail, they release on December 21st for a retail price of $150. All right, so I'm editing the video right now, but I wanted to jump in and just say that all of a sudden, there is a brand new pair of Air Maxes that's fully 3D printed and completely done by Zellerfeld that just got announced. I can't talk too much about it because I don't know too much about it, but I just want to put it in as like sort of a 5.5 because I think it's fire. And I'm definitely gonna be trying to grab a pair. So check out the Air Max, I think it's the 1000, a fully 3D printed version of the Air Max 1, done by Zellerfeld, featuring an air unit. It's crazy looking. And I don't know much about it, like I said, but I'm stoked on it. So hopefully more information comes out soon, and hopefully I'll have a review for you guys. Number 4, the Adidas Fear of God Athletics 2 Basketball. Jerry Lorenzo is continuing his collaboration with Adidas with the release of the brand new Fear of God Athletics 2 Basketball. While his first few Adidas Fear of God basketball sneakers didn't really hit the way that I think people thought they were going to, or the way that Jerry would like them to, it was still a shoe that did shake up the industry in a lot of ways. It kind of felt like the continuation of Yeezy basketball, except with the Jerry Lorenzo twist, that sort of Nike Fear of God twist. And while the Fear of God 1 basketball wasn't incredibly popular, I think it did prime the pumps for the brand new Fear of God 2 basketball. A shoe which, in my opinion, is not only better looking, but a lot more wearable for both casual wear and for basketball wear. The construction of the 2 basketball does seem similar to the 1 basketball in that it's made up of this sort of like thick fabric mesh on the upper with TPU overlays. The midsole of the shoe also features a thick semi-translucent rubber, but I do think overall visually, the Fear of God 2 basketball is better looking than the ones in a lot of ways. It's cleaner, it's sleeker, it's honestly cooler looking. All around, I think it's just a better looking sneaker, and I think that's going to draw a lot of people into the silhouette. Now, apparently this shoe is coming in a high top variant and a low top variant. I personally think the low top variant will be the more popular of the two, but we'll just have to wait and see. And as of right now, I have no idea what the pricing of this shoe is going to be. I've done some research online, but couldn't really find anything out, and I saw that there was an event in Atlanta for this shoe, but I wasn't invited, and I don't know sort of what information the people at the event were told, so I think it's dropping in December. I wouldn't be surprised if it's $200 or maybe $200 plus shoe. It could be less, but that's my guess. Will it be one of the best releases of the year? Probably not, but it's definitely a shoe that I'm excited for, and it has potential. So I'm excited to see it. Number 3, the Air Jordan 4 Fear. So this is another shoe that I've already done a full review on like a month ago, so if you guys want to check that review out, link at the top of the screen. But genuinely, it's one of my favorite pairs of Air Jordan 4s to drop all year, and it's not even an OG colorway. This shoe is just so clean. It first released back in 2013 as part of the Fear Pack, and now in 2024, we are getting the first retro of this shoe, and it doesn't disappoint. It's basically exactly the same as it was back in 2013. Or at least, I would assume that it's exactly the same as it was. I wasn't able to get a pair. Another shoe that I tried to grab and couldn't get. The shoe comes in this sort of gray nubuck upper that fades from like a gray to a black towards the top of the shoe. In fact, the entire shoe is sort of a gradient from the bottom to the top. You've got a white outsole that fades to like a light gray on the midsole, and then you've got a slightly darker gray on the mudguard, and then it continues to fade up to a black towards the top of the shoe until you get to the white part on the sock liner of the shoe. But it's a very cool concept. You've also got another gradient on this shoe on the midsole, where it fades from like sort of a light gray towards the front of the shoe to a black towards the heel of the shoe with this white splatter print. All around, it's a very, very cool, subtle, it's not even that subtle, it's just a cool Air Jordan 4. It's a really good look. I love this shoe. It's probably my favorite pair of black Air Jordan 4s to drop this year. I know that's crazy to say for a lot of people because they love the Bread 4s and they love the White Thunders, but this one, for me, this is it. So I know this shoe is releasing this weekend, so for a lot of you guys watching this video, it's not an upcoming sneaker anymore, it's a sneaker that's already been out, but I do think this is one of those shoes that has the potential to sell out very quickly. I don't know if it'll completely sell out, and I also don't know what the resale price is gonna be. Again, you can check it out right there on your screen, but I would guess that it's gonna sell quickly. Who knows if it'll resell for anything? Probably not, but you never know. You never know how people are gonna feel about this shoe. I think there's gonna be a lot of love for this shoe, but it might not be like hype. Grab a pair if you want it, don't if you don't. Number 2, the Air Jordan 11 Legend Blue. The Legend Blue 11s are another shoe that I have a story about not being able to grab back in 2014 when it last released. There's so many shoes from that time when I was in college that I just couldn't grab shoes because I didn't have money, but also they were tough. I mean, it's tough now, but now you could at least go on the sneakers app. You have StockX, you have GOAT, you have all these different apps. But back then it was like, you either get them on the Nike app, you either get them from a raffle, or you don't. You could do Facebook meetups in Philly. There was Buy Sell Fresh Cakes Philly, and that was fine, but there was no legit checking. You just kind of had to feel it out for yourself. And resale for these at the time was like $350 to $400. And as a broke college student, I was not gonna pay that for a pair of sneakers. Nowadays, I'll pay that because I'm an idiot and my whole job is sneakers, but still. So this is one of the shoes that I missed out on release day, and I just had to let it go because there was just no way I was gonna pay resale for these. But now finally in 2024, they are back and I have a pair. And the good news is, if you want a pair of these, there should be a lot of these available. So like the most recent retro of this shoe in 2014, it's basically the same exact thing, except the patent leather is closer to the OG cut of the patent leather. It's slightly higher. The 2014 pair had that lower patent leather. Of course, this shoe does have the white leather on the top half of the upper instead of the ballistic nylon. You've got your blue Jumpman there on the lateral side, which matches the blue patch across the center of the tongue and also the blue outsole. And it's one of those classic Air Jordan 11s that just makes me feel warm inside. Like, this is the kind of shoe that I always wanted as a Jordan fan, and having it is like, yeah, this is nice. That was a terrible description, probably did nothing for you, but that's how I feel with this shoe. Same thing with the Breads and the Space Jams. Any of the 11s, I feel warm and fuzzy inside when I get them. But to have a classic colorway like this back is amazing, and I'm so excited for it. If you want to grab a pair of these drop on December 14th for a retail price of $230. It's expensive, but in my opinion, it's worth it. And seriously, there should be a bunch of these available, so it shouldn't be that hard to grab. Number 1, the Black Cement Air Jordan 3s. The Air Jordan 3 is my second favorite Jordan silhouette of all time, with the Black Cement 3 colorway being my second favorite pair of Air Jordans of all time in general. So every time that we get a retro of the Black Cement 3s, I'm excited. And this year is no different. The last time the BC 3s dropped was back in 2018, and now 6 years later, we're finally getting it back in 2024, and it's just as good as I was hoping. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about the inconsistencies in the elephant print, and that's always gonna happen with elephant print because it's not like a standard leather where the only difference is like the texture of the leather. It's a big sheet with the pattern on it, and they cut it out into the different panels that they need, and no two cuts are gonna be exactly the same, and most likely the elephant print used on the right shoe is from a different sheet than the elephant print used on the left shoe. So because of that, there is a good chance that maybe your right shoe will look like it has thicker or deeper elephant print than your left shoe, and that's just something you're gonna have to deal with, unfortunately. But it's not a deal breaker, in my opinion. And in almost every single way, other than maybe the elephant print and the way that the tongue is shaped, this shoe is almost exactly the same as the 2018 pair, which is amazing because that was a pair that I had always wished that I doubled up on, and I never did. And now I feel like I have because it's basically the same exact pair. You've still got the Nike Air branding on the heel, which was brought back in the 2018 pair. The shape of the shoe is very, very similar, even though it was supposed to be shaped like the OG pair. The OG pair is more of a triangle, like this way, rather than having a little bit of a swoop. The elephant print obviously is different, but I mean, every other aspect of this shoe is almost identical to the 2018 pair. In fact, here's the 2018 pair. Obviously, the main difference being the elephant print itself being a bit thicker and a bit darker. But other than that, I mean, the shape's the same, the color's the same. This one does have a puffier tongue, I guess towards the top, but that's really it. I mean, you can't really go wrong with the Black Cement 3. It's one of the most classic sneakers of all time. And hopefully Jordan Brand makes a bunch of pairs of these so people have a chance to grab them, which I would assume that they would because this kind of shoe is a cash grab for them essentially because they know all the pairs are gonna sell, so they could make like 2 million of them and they would all sell out. So I'm sure the shoe is not gonna be incredibly difficult to get, but it probably also won't be easy to get. It's probably gonna be like the military Blue Force, where a couple sizes sat around here or there in stores like a couple days after release, but that's it. That's my guess. I have no idea actually how limited this shoe is gonna be, but I would expect that it's not gonna be that limited. And of course, if you wanna grab a pair of these, probably my favorite Air Jordan release of 2024, to be honest, they release on November 23rd for a retail price of $220. So the release is coming up, stay tuned for that. Check the resale prices because I think once they drop, they will drop in resale price too. But if you can grab a pair for retail, that's ideal. But hey, if you made it to this point in the video, let me know your thoughts on this list in the comment section down below. Of course, you can grab any of the shoes that I mentioned in today's video through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hit that sub button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.